episode 2, but this is take 2. I tried it earlier and I could not get things figured out. I went and saw my sister, and we were talking about the Bible, and she's the one that gave me, lent me, I should say, the 1611 King James Version, and I'm comparing what's in this one and what's not in the other King James, and turns out there's like right around 17 books of the Bible that were separated and gathered together and called the Apocrypha. So I'm learning about that. Then she finds another book, and it's called Final Authority, A Christian's Guide to the King James Bible by William Grady, which is what this one is. And it talks about the 1611 one and some of the, how did they put it? Final Authority exposes the deceit behind many of the common charges leveled against the AD 1611 authorized version. For instance, having heard of the inferior scholarship of the King James translators, one discovers that Dr. John Boyce, chairman of the Old Testament Committee at Cambridge, was reading and writing Hebrew at age 6, blah, 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 blah. They talk about, after hearing the scholars Westcott and Hort, venerated as spiritual giants, he becomes acquainted with their personal correspondence, in which they endorse evolution, socialism, globalism, disarmament, spiritism, purgatory, and communal living, while deprecating the inspiration of Scripture, salvation by grace, a literal heaven and hell, and the United States of America. So, you know, from the get-go, there's been politics in religion, and it's becoming more and more obvious to me that we have to get past dogma and stuff that, you know, doesn't have any bearing. So anyway, I tried this before. I went over and I was talking to my sister, and she told me about, you know, there's the Bible. You can't copyright the Bible. The only thing you copyright is your version, where you add maps and pictures and stuff. So that's part of what we went over. So that's the copyright, the different versions, reincarnation. She talks about Revelation. So I want to share this, and I was going to share it earlier, but I was not able to find all the buttons, the right buttons to push and stuff. So let me try this again, and as soon as she starts talking, I will. Do you see me? I have to bring it up on the correct thing, which would be here. Okay, here she goes. Okay, I'm having tea with my sister. And we're discussing the Bible. And she just told me a very interesting fact about the Bible. Could you please repeat what you just told me? We were talking about a final authority and how the publishers, Harcourt, I gotta find it, Westcott,
the publishers, but the Bible itself was not a copyrighted book. When they came out, they printed the Bible, and you just paid for the printing, is what it was. You paid for the paper and the whatever, you know, that.
And the cost of the
employees
doing
it. Had a Bible. That was the original intent of printing of the Bible. In the first place, is everybody would have a copy. That's why you can go to the dollar store and buy a dollar Bible, Holy Bible, because it's not. There's
no royalties involved.
There's no royalties involved. So what happened was that people decided, well, this is a very popular book, so I think I can make some money off of it. So publishers would take and add coordinates, commentary,
pictures,
indexes, maps, all kinds of stuff to it. The original 1611 does not have maps in it, doesn't have concordance, doesn't have an index, doesn't have table of contents, none of that stuff. So they added it, when they changed it over to the English that we speak today, they decided to add things to it. Well, each publisher that adds things to it, they get a copyright on it. Because this is
their version, so they get a copyright on it.
Copyrighted, yeah. That's why they've been changing the Bible for years and years and years. Is that how they make money off of it? Well, 1611. Everybody knows that King James 1611. You know, there's nothing new, nothing different. I mean, from 1611, it's been the same Bible ever since. But let's take out the these and thous. Then it becomes a copyrighted Bible. Let's add a few things.
They didn't do that because of the translators saying, well, this is...
No, they did it because they always
yes, chill out, I can.
Excuse that it was to make people help them to understand it. You know, the Bible itself, King James 1611, it's geared towards 8th grade. We've dummied down everybody. They don't know how to read. I mean, the average man should be able to read this Bible. There's nothing hard about it. Well, there's, you know, if you
some of the words
and pronouncing the words and things like that, yes. But as far as understanding what it says, no. But I mean, you can read it. It doesn't take you long to read it. I mean, you can read the whole thing in less than a year.
Or 3 days in my case.
Yeah, or something like that. So, you know, it's not like it's the whole thing. You're not, originally the first Old Testament part was written in Hebrew. Well, it's not written in Hebrew now. They translated it into an English. Well, you can still read it. The second part, the New Testament, is written in Greek. Well, we don't read Greek. They translated it into English, unless you're Greek or Hebrew. So, you know, but other than that, they tried to translate it as close to what the words original text was. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, my husband, he had to leave. Anyway, so as far as the Bible goes, you can read it. I mean, there's no problem with it. But to make money off of it, you've got to do something else. So you've got to either add something to it, like pictures or, you know, table of contents, or translate it into another language, or, you know, that type of thing. Well, then you can make some money off of it. Or let's say I want to make Bibles more hip and relevant for today. Well, you can do that too. But
that's like the new, I forget what they call it, but the versions after King James.
He got locked out again.
Okay, I ended it here. Okay, let me see if I got to push the right button. Hello again. Hi, just well. Hi, thanks for stopping by. Chill out. Yes, of course I can pray for you. Thanks for stopping by. I don't know if anybody else is around right now. I'm trying to, I went and saw my sister today, and I'm trying to share with you a couple things of, what we discussed. Okay, that should go away soon. So there's another section, and if you ask a question or something, when I get done with it, I will directly address you. I need to move this up. Well, we got 5 viewers, or at least we had, coming and going. I don't know how that works. Whatever. So let me play the rest of it. She got interrupted because her husband came in and was knocking on the door because he forgot his keys, and then he forgot something else. So we finally got going again. So if you hear any noise in the background, that's what's going on. I tried to answer in chat, but then it comes up on the screen and it distorts what she's talking about. So I don't think it's a good idea for me to do that. So I don't know why that's still showing her on the screen there. I hope you're getting all of this. So I don't know why that's still showing there, but it's not showing over here. Because I need to lock it out? No. All right. Let me see if I can get the other one playing.
But even now, there are people who are missionaries, and they feel that they believe that God has impressed upon their hearts to take the King James Bible and translate it, and they don't.
They don't know what they're doing.
No, they know what they're doing, but they don't charge for it. They just do it for the paper, because you go to Indonesia. Okay, I need to translate it into the native language. Well, in order to do that, they have to go over it and over it and over it and over it and over it, and make sure that they get the understanding of whatever is in English into their language correctly.
That's okay. Chill out. We're in the second half. This part will go about half an hour. And then I'll pause it. I hope this is working. I'll pause it and answer questions and stuff as we go. And whatever I don't address as we go, I'll pick up at the end. So here's Sandy continuing.
So, but they don't charge for it, and a lot of missionaries will ask you to donate monies or support them, because some places they're not allowed to take Bibles into different countries. You're not allowed to carry them with you. So, that type of thing. So whatever they're doing, they're doing for the people there. They're not doing it to make money. But a lot of people, like the kids' Bibles and stuff like that, well, then that's a money-making proposition. Even though it might be geared down to little people. Little people have no problems in understanding the Bible if it's done right.
True.
So, it's just one of those deals. But that's how they make money off of it. And it's one of the largest, or the top #1 seller in the world.
And that's how stuff can start to be misconstrued, because people are changing this here and changing that there.
Yeah, but a lot depends on what you're doing it for, what's your purpose and your reason. If you're doing it just to make money, you can do anything. Some people take parts out of the Bible. They take whole verses out. If you take
that's what they said in this book, Final Authority by William Grady, on the cover.
Yeah.
That they found that had happened.
Yeah. They do, because it fits their style and program, or whatever
agenda,
or whatever they're going for. Yeah. So a lot of times they'll change it. A lot of times people get hysterical, and I don't like that verse. It says he. It should say she, or that's a man. I'm not a man. I'm somebody. When he talks about man in the Bible, he's talking about male and female, unless he's talking about a specific man. Or like that man over there.
The one that you call John the Baptist, and he's Elijah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But anyway,
I just recently was talking about that. So.
But anyway, they do. That's like why today they're trying to change the language for people to identify them.
Yeah, let's dummy us down even more.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. But we're going to get back to the Bible. The Bible, by itself, you could understand it. But we have been dummied down, so like you said, dummied down so much. There's kids that come to Sunday school and they don't know who Adam and Eve is. They have no idea who the devil is. They think Jesus Christ is a swear word. They have no concept of why he came. They don't understand. All they think is the Easter bunny's for Easter and Christmas is getting gifts. But it has no other connotation for them at all if they get that. And so we have taken the moral code of this country, for one thing. That's why we are one nation under God. They wanted a moral code for this country, but they didn't. But we've taken that out too. But I don't want to get into political stuff. But anyway, it's just.
You should have heard me rant yesterday.
I know, but but it's a shame, because when we were little kids, we knew about who Adam and Eve was. We knew about who the devil was. We knew the difference between right and wrong. We knew, We might not have known everything in the Bible, but we knew that part of the Ten Commandments, if nothing else. And I mean, even people, what we call lost people, people who have never asked Jesus into their heart and saved them, they even had more respect for Christian people and God, you know, that type of thing. But now
even agnostics, I was talking to one online yesterday.
Yeah.
And she was asking me wonderful questions.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was a great conversation, and she was very respectful, and I was very respectful back. And,
yeah,
you know, we made each other think.
Yeah. But,
what a concept.
Well, this is true. But like I said, even people who never, you know, they never go to church, at least they had decency towards God or creation. But since we're not a planter, a harvester type people anymore, nature to us is concrete and steel.
Yeah, that's true. We've gotten way far away.
Yeah, in technology, you don't see the wonder of God anymore, and you don't say, "Oh, this is pretty neat. This is great. This is," of course, if it's a tornado, that's a different story.
Oh wow! As you fly away to the next county,
it's like, oh yeah, you could keep that one. But anyway, you know, that's just the way it is. That's the way it goes. But.
Well, one of the since we're talking and I'm making references to my last stream.
Okay.
One of the questions that was asked was referring to they asked me specifically, I took it generally at first, but specifically they were asking how I introduced religion to my family. And, you know, it's just either the morals that you teach your kids, you know, separate from a church.
Right.
You teach them morals, and then when they grow up and leave home, someone's going to cross their path, and they'll go, oh, yeah, you know, I can connect to that. And then that brings them the further information. I believe God puts people in our path for specific reasons, and at some point somebody's going to be put in the path, in that person's path, to further their education spiritually. But with my kids, they were exposed to Baptist, Pentecostal, evangelical, New Age, and I'm missing one, Methodist, yeah. They were exposed to a variety of things, and thank God they were, because at some point Joe knew to turn to a church to help him when he was struggling being a single parent.
Religion is different than it really can. I mean, it's like politics. It can get really nasty.
Yes, it can.
And religion is your belief in a higher power. There are people who believe Satan's a higher power. There's some people who believe God's a higher power. There's people that believe Buddha's a higher power. There's people who believe, you know, there's different people. There's just different avenues on the whole religion thing. Here's my take on it, okay? You're not going to like it, but that's
give it to me anyway.
There's only been one God. Says so in Genesis 1:1. God created the heavens and the earth. Period. There's no other people. There's no Muhammad or anybody else.
He's always been there and always will be.
And it talks about how he created earth, how he put everything on there, how the last thing he made was man. But even that in the Bible it talks about even the rocks cry out to God. So they know God. They know who he is. There's always been one God. But the trouble is, fans decided, I ain't going to do that. I'm going to go find me something else to do. I just, look, I was looking for something, and this tree here decided, for some reason, something magical happened with this tree. Like I planted something there and it just sprouted all over. Well, this is a magical tree. And next thing you know, they're worshiping trees and rocks and other things. But God always been there. And then when Adam and Eve was kicked out of the garden, then He showed them the first sacrifice and gave them the skins and told them from here on out for sin there's sacrifice until the ultimate sacrifice comes, which would be Jesus Christ. He's always been there, all the way down, but people have decided in their own minds and
that they know better.
Well, they know better, or they feel that maybe they are. God has blessed them to be the king of whatever, the big
Kahuna.
Yeah, whatever. The big kahuna. But anyway, or they decided, I ain't doing that. It doesn't get me anywhere. I don't care to do that. I'm going to do this. And then after a while, they just drift away and stuff. And then people decide to pick up stuff as time went on. But He's always been there if you read the Bible. If you don't believe in the Bible, then what do you got to believe in?
Yeah.
But later on down the road, people kept going away and from God and doing their own thing, and until they really made Him mad, and then He decided, I'm getting rid of everybody, and then that's where the flood came in, and then after that, He said, I'm really sorry about that, but
when was Babel, the Tower of Babel? Was that before or after?
Before that. It must have been after that, because then they built it. He told them to leave. It says right there in the Bible, He wanted them to move out, spread out, but they wouldn't listen. They just kept building and building and building. It's like, you people are dumb.
But building up, because I thought they wanted to talk to God. They wanted to get to heaven.
It's probably the same thing that got Satan kicked out of heaven. He thought he's just as good as God. I got the same kind of powers God has. In fact, I can do the job just like He does it. In fact, I bet I can even tell God what to do. Well, that didn't go over too well. So God and the third of the angels got kicked out of heaven, But part of that's what started the whole rigmarole. Anyway, after the flood in the Tower of Babel and then he wanted to make a people for Himself. He knew he can't change your heart to make you do something you don't want to do.
Because that would take away free will.
Yes, and He always gave free will. So He found a man named Abraham, and He said, from you, I'm going to start my nation. And that's where the Jewish nation came from. They were supposed to be God's people. Everybody else, He could care less,
I'm going to focus on you.
Yeah. He said, I want a people for me, like somebody to be one of your friends. God tried. People just kept turning their backs on Him. So that's where the Jewish people came in. Well, through Abraham's line and David and all the way down through, that's where Jesus came in. Because He made a promise. Even though it might have taken Him over 4,000 years to get to that promise, to fulfill it, because God's ways are not our ways. One day is like 1,000 days, and 1,000 days
God's time is different than ours.
Yeah, it's our time. So everything's different. But when Jesus came around, for thousands upon thousands of years, they've been saying that we've got a Savior coming, and we got somebody who's going to take away all our sins, and that's all they preached about. It's like people who preach about the end times now, and people don't care. Oh, that's okay. Well, okay. When it shows up,
they don't believe anything comes after. They believe it just ends. They don't believe in an afterlife.
Or they believe in something else. But anyway,
I'm going to pause this a minute because I want to check and see if you're getting any of this stuff. I hope so. If not, then I get to record this again. So we will continue.
When He showed up, they could care less. Who is this? Isn't that the?
He's bucking the system.
He was he didn't do nothing. He just came and told them, and he was the one that they've been the God's promised for thousands upon thousands of years, and he's the one that was here. And look at the things he did. He made lame people walk, blind people see. He cured diseases. He brought dead alive. He did all kinds of stuff. He took and made all kinds of miracles, and yet, I mean, people followed him around like thousands of, but they don't want nothing to do with the God part. They just want to be there for the sensational part. But anyway, he did all that stuff to show the Jewish people that he was who he said he was. And they said, "No, you're not. You're the devil. You're Beelzebub. You're the devil's son." They don't want nothing to do with him. You know why? Politics again.
Yep.
They had made themselves. They had made their own political outfit, and they had people bowing down to them, giving them money, making them look good, and yada yada. I don't even want to get on that anyway. But anyway, I mean, they figured, look at this puny little kid coming in here. He's only 30 years old. He's doing all this stuff, and he's claiming to be God and all this stuff. And people were moving away from him, and that was making them mad. So when they told him, he says, "We got to get rid of him," and that's what they did.
They crucified him, literally.
Yes, they did. They got rid of him. They thought they got rid of him. But he's the only one that's ever come back to life. And it said over 5,000 people saw him after he was crucified.
See, I've never heard that before.
Yeah. Like that, he didn't show up just to the 12 or 11 disciples minus one, to the 11 disciples and friends. He didn't just. It wasn't just one guy or one person, because if it was one guy and one person, then the first person he showed up to was Mary Magdalene, crazy Mary. So if she went around and she told people, "I saw him. He was standing. He was at the tomb. He was there." Right, crazy Mary. Anything you say, that's the way they would take it.
Yeah.
It's just if she's the only one that says anything about it.
And why did he show himself to her, not Peter?
Because she was crying. He had that much compassion on his heart for her.
You're gonna make me cry.
It is. So anyway, he told her to go down and tell the other guys. She went down and tell the other guys, but they probably said,
and half of them believed her and half didn't.
Yeah, well, why? So he had to show up. And when he showed up, Thomas wasn't there. That's why we call him Doubting Thomas. Well, then the next time he shows up, Thomas is there, and he didn't doubt him anymore. But that wasn't the only places in the Bible where he showed up. It said over 5,000 people where he showed up. So he had a backup. It wasn't like just a few people. Some people would say, "Oh, that's just his gangy people." It's okay. They'll tell you anything. Because that was one of the big things that when he was in the tomb, that's why they rolled a stone in front of it, because they didn't want to be taking him away. They would his own people would come and take him away, and then they would say, "Yeah, he fulfilled the scriptures."
Yeah, but isn't that how they would bury people who had tombs like that?
They're in the desert.
Yeah, in front of it.
No, but they put guards in front of the stone.
Oh.
They sealed it. They put guards in front of the stone. They made sure it was it. They fell asleep like a bunch of idiots, and then the stone rolled away and Jesus is gone. But that was one of the big fears, and it's the same fear they have today. It says in the Bible. They'll still say the same thing today. No, it's his people came and got him and took him out of the tomb, and that's so they can exalt Jesus to make him the God's son.
And because the Jews didn't accept him, that's when Jesus said, "Well, you're going to preach to the Gentiles."
There's a few Jews that accepted him, but not very many.
No.
But that's what he came back for, to fulfill a promise that he made, and they had nothing to do. They wanted nothing to do with him. So he said, "Forget it." And then he went over and started talking to people. Samaritans are half Jew and half Gentile. Jews won't have nothing to do with them. because
You're bucking the system.
well, you're unclean. So they had their own place. The lady at the well, the Samaritan lady at the well. He talked to him, and when the disciples came back, they couldn't believe he was talking to this woman.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Well, he talked to lepers. He talked to all kinds of people. He wasn't discriminatory in any way, shape, or form.
No, he wasn't. And so, but anyway, that's where we are now. Is the Jewish people, and I mean the Gentile people, but our time is closing. The time. It doesn't mean you can't get saved, but I mean the dealing with the Gentiles is closing, because now is going to come the dealing with the Jews, and that's what the tribulation and all that is about. That's the final chapter. That's the final thing. He's going to come back and say, okay, you got a choice here. This is it. No more.
Well, and the rapture is going to happen. Right.
Yeah, well, the rapture is all the Christians that accepted Jesus Christ in their heart will go first. The graves will open first. The people who are saved will go in the rapture. If somebody came to you and told you how to get saved by asking Jesus in your heart, asking forgiveness of sins, take you to heaven when you die. If you say, okay, no, I don't care, whatever, just leave a track, I'll be all right, and you don't do any more, you don't have anything else to do with it, you just said yes to get somebody off your tail about it. Oh, there's those people again, just say yes, yeah, okay, and then they'll go away and leave me alone. Okay. But the trouble is, when it comes to the rapture time, they're not going to be gone.
That will be their final, if they are still alive, that will be their final, is during the tribulation. Their final chance to say yes.
God, even Jesus said, there'll be people who say, Lord, Lord, I prophesied in your name. And he says, I don't even know you. You have to have a personal relationship with God, with Jesus. You can't just say, yes, I ask my heart, and I go do anything I want. No. You're supposed to be God's representative, and so if you're representing God and you're just doing the same old stuff that you ever did, you're drinking and smoking and you're cussing and swearing and you're beating people up or whatever it is that you're, or you don't go to church or you don't read your Bible, you don't do nothing, that kind of thing, you have nothing really to do with God. You just ask God to get off your back, and that's it. You're going to do whatever you want to do. You have no relationship whatsoever with God, with Jesus. So a lot of people who've asked, they said, "Oh yeah, the guy came to the door I asked." They said, "Yeah, okay, I want to ask Jesus in my heart," and you didn't mean it.
But were they baptized?
Baptizing does not make you saved.
No. What I'm saying is that's the only other thing that Jesus ever said you do.
It's only for obedience, to show that you really you ask Jesus in your heart.
While we're talking, you told me one time something that I didn't know. And since we're talking about the end times, which makes me think of the book of Revelations.
Yep.
You told me that the book of Revelations is divided into 3 parts.
Right.
Could you do a brief summary of that, so anybody who is reading Revelations it's difficult getting through that book and understanding, okay, what's going on and when. Well, and we're not supposed to really know specifics anyway, but...
Well, you'll never know specifics, because God just gives you enough to go on. He doesn't give... You'll know everything later. But anyway, yeah, when you die, you'll know everything.
Yeah.
And then you'll find out how stupid you really was. But anyway, the book, John was the last one of the original 12. He was, he took care of Jesus' mom. When he was on the cross, he said, he told John, "Behold my mother." And, in other words, he was asking Jesus to take care of his mother while he was gone. Nobody knows where Joseph is at this time, whether he had died or what.
Joseph or John?
No, Joseph and Mary.
Oh, where his father was.
Oh.
Okay, stepfather. Yeah, I'm sorry, didn't mean that. Do you see any lightning bolts coming down?
Now, I don't know if it was because she might have been he asked her to maybe take her back because he had some sisters still at home. So I don't know if he wanted to make sure that she got back home or what the problem was. But some people say that they did at this particular period in time they've not heard anything out of Joseph, so they don't know if he was alive or not.
Or maybe he stayed home and worked and took care of the girls.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyhow.
But Mary followed her son around.
Yes. Well, Joseph, John, you called him the beloved. He was Jesus' best friend, BFF. And he had been boiled in oil. He'd been beaten, thrown in prison.
John had?
Yes. They dipped him in hot oil. And they put him on this Isle of Patmos. Patmos is an island that is nothing but stone. There's nothing there. So the man's getting up in years. He's got to walk on the stony, gravelly thing, whatever island, and he's out there. But he never turned back from God. And he was praying because it was the Sabbath day. And that's when God gave him the book of Revelation. He wanted him to write it down, and I think it's the 3rd verse or somewhere in there. It's in the first 10 verses anyway, of the first chapter, where he talks about he wanted him to write down what happened when he and Jesus were alive, things that are going on now, and things that are going to go on, or things in the past, things that are now, and things that are going on in the future.
How did he have stuff to write on?
They probably gave him paper and stuff. He had nothing else going on out there. I mean, he didn't have no TV.
But it was like a prison?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was where he's kept, but he probably they had to give him food. So if they gave him food, he could ask for something to write on, you know.
Okay.
God, I don't know, maybe God made it appear. I have no idea, it doesn't say. So that's what he was supposed to write down. That's the key to all of Revelation. It's the past, things that happened in the past, things that happened when Jesus was around, and things that happened in the future.
Wow.
And it flips back and forth like that.
So you just have to be enough in the Word to follow the train and know when it's referring back to the past and when it's projecting into the future.
Mm-hmm. There's a very good book on that. It's by Luke and I can't think of his first name. But anyway, that was the last book. I never had anything more written down. He didn't have to have anything more written down because the book is more explanatory. Explanationary. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
But anyway, it's a book on salvation. Period. It's a book on God. Period. There's nothing. It's not it's not like we call history books. It does have history in it. It's not a science book or anything like that. This is a book that God wants things written down that talks about Him, why why everything was made, what happened to mankind, what's going to happen to mankind, that type of thing. So it's not like I don't know. Some people think, well, I want to know every answer there is to every. I would too. I wish God would speak up a little louder, but He's not going to. He gives you enough to give, because
to nudge you in the right direction to find the answers for yourself.
Well, that's true too, but also He doesn't. It's not like you're being brainwashed or anything like that. He gives you the free will to seek out these things yourself, to be able to find out what's going on. Or it's in there, you just have to find it. But it's just there's people who got to have every stinking little answer, dot and ditto, and everything else in their life because they can't function. But God's given people a chance to function. It's just.
We're not robots.
Yeah, that's true. You're not robots, and you. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. it's like I call them love letters from God, because you don't explain everything, but you get across what you want to get across,
Right.
and that's what the Bible is.
Right.
So, but he's not going to twist your arm. He's not going to brainwash you. He's not going to make you do anything you don't want to do.
Except that ass. The donkey.
The donkey. Well,
yeah, that was funny.
I think he just opened it up there for a while so to get the guy gets his attention. But anyway.
And he does that all the time, but we just don't pay attention to the little nudges
No,
and the little, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
You know,
whatever.
You shouldn't do that. That's going to hurt you.
That's why I said a lot of times before when the Second World War broke out, 80% of the people were in farming.
Right.
So a lot of people knew what hard work was. They had to depend on the weather. They had to depend on everything. They had to know what they're doing. You know, when to plant, when to not plant, when to do, what not to do. You know, that type of thing. And all that hard work ethic is gone nowadays. After I'd say. Well, nowadays, really, I'd say in the last 15, 20 years, we only do 20% farming now. The rest is a high tech.
Yeah.
Everything is, you have no...
mechanized.
No, you don't have any reaction to the things of nature anymore.
Right. Right.
Unless you're splitting atoms, maybe, or something like that.
And doing stuff that we really shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, but I'm saying... You know, they had a closer relationship with God at that time, I would say.
Yeah. The closer you are to nature, the closer to God you are.
Well, they say if you garden, there's some kind of, what do they call it? It's not like a bacteria.
Nutrient?
It's something in the soil that actually it reacts to your body and helps calm you down.
It's like an endorphin.
Yeah. Too bad I'm not a good gardener.
I need some of those indoors. Well, listen, I'll let you go now. But I hadn't heard a lot of these things before, and I have said since you taught Sunday school for so many years, there's a lot of things that you've learned that I haven't come across yet. So,
okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
God bless you, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye. I hope that thing blows up.
You're such a curmudgeon.
I know.
She's a character. I hope that came across. I don't know if it did or not. I don't know. So, if you hung around, thank you for hanging around. I'm going to go ahead and close this out, and I'm going to check it to see if it recorded the way I thought it was going to record. And if not, I'm just going to have to record it by itself and upload it. And not do any live streaming. I want to thank Just Wait and Chill Out for coming by. And Chill Out, I'll definitely send some prayers out for you and cover you in God's blessings, that He helps you lead your path to what you need. And anybody else who stopped by and just wanted to listen and see what's going on. I hope the rest of your evening goes well. And I hope you have a better time with electronics than I had. And so until the next time we get together and chat, you take care and God bless. Good night.